I dealt with sadness and anger as a teenager, but according to my mom, it couldn't be depression because black people don't get depressed. We survived slavery, and for my mom, she survived raising 3 kids on her own. But I didn't feel strong, even though my ancestors went through things that are beyond what I can even imagine. I had this frustration, and I felt like I didn't fit in anywhere. And so I found an outlet at 13, and I rebelled through Christian hip hop, which is pretty edgy. It's pretty edgy, guys. Like, seriously, it's edgy. And when I became a grad student, I had the opportunity to film my favorite Christian hip hop group. And the leader of the group was going to perform somewhere. And I just felt like, I don't know, a princess, because this MC is like saying, I can do this, even though I didn't feel like I can do this at all. Previously, the only experience that I had filming things was, taking photos on my Motorola Razr. I had no experience whatsoever. And as soon as I was setting my equipment up, I saw security come, and he did this movement like this, like shooing me, like I was a fly or something like that. And he said, you can't film here, you gotta go. And I looked at, my hero, surely there's wrong. And he didn't do anything. And I felt my insides collapse and sink to the floor. And I plastered a smile on my face until I got to the parking lot. And I threw my school equipment all in the trunk. And I slammed the trunk down, and the sound reverberated throughout the parking lot. And I just saw the speedometer inch up as I pressed my foot on the gas, and tears fell like thuds on my steering wheel. And when I was driving, each lane change, I would almost like veer my body into the lane change as if it will be my last. I was dealing with so much sadness because I felt abandoned by all the men in my life, including my father. And I wanted to mask a suicide by a car crash. Somehow, I got home, and I realized the trunk didn't latch because I slammed it so hard. There could have been $10,000 worth of film equipment all throughout the highway. And I should have been grateful that it didn't happen, but all I felt was frustration and anger that I'm still alive. This was the wake-up call that I needed to go to counseling, finally. I had 2 school counselors right in front of me, and they said, you have to quit grad school. You have to have a police escort to the mental hospital. You gotta go. They'd never even asked me about my relationship with the police. They never asked that there were LAPD helicopters over my house, shaking and rattling my house like it was an earthquake. They never asked that, oh, maybe you're not uncomfortable with the police because you're a black woman. They didn't ask any of those questions. And so instead of me focusing on my pain and my experiences, I was fighting back the counselors and trying to find a way to not go to the hospital via a cop car. And what happened was that they eventually said, okay, you can do therapy, go to therapy. And I was sitting in front of this white lady with a gray kind of bob and kind of clear glasses. She looked like a cat lady. And she said, you have major depressive disorder. You have dealt with depression for at least 2 weeks. You can't go to class. You can't shower. You can't dress. You're struggling right now. And I thought about my mom and what she would say about this black woman being in therapy. And I told her, and she said, did you pray about it? I said, yeah, I prayed about it. Did your pastor pray about it? I said, yeah. She said, well, she was trying to be compassionate. She said, your father never been there for you. You don't have any friends. And you live in a little room, so I get it. So I kept going to therapy, but unfortunately, I didn't feel better. I was still struggling. And my doctor said, you need to get on antidepressants. You really need to do something else because just therapy by itself is not helping. But I was like, no, I'm a Christian. I got faith, and no, I don't need pills. So I'm going to do something instead that's even better than what my mom would do. Instead of just praying it away, I was going to deep healing pray it away. And I went to a minister, and this minister walked me through my childhood memories and wanted me to see the presence of Jesus in these experiences. And one of the memories that stuck in my mind was me just being surrounded completely by darkness. It felt like there was no light anywhere. But I looked off into the distance, kind of like that light. There was a small circle of light that was shining, and it got bigger and bigger. And then there was a hand that reached out of that light to the point where I felt engulfed in this light. And I told the minister, this is great. I'm good. This is, I don't need any more. I'm happy. And the minister was like, keep going in this vision that you have. And I said, I see crystal blue stairs that are as high as you can ever imagine them. And he's like, go up the stairs. So I went up the stairs, and I saw myself, and it seemed like I had like a dress on, like a red dress, and there were holes in the dress. And it registered to me that these were the holes that I had because I didn't have a father's love in my life. I finally go all the way up these stairs, and it seemed like it was God on the top of the stairs. And I couldn't see his face or his upper body. I just saw his legs. And he was like, go in the Father's lap. Just go, just play in the Father's lap. And I'm like, okay, this is great. I never had a dad. I don't know what this is like. This is a great feeling. And so me and the minister, we chatted about, this vision and what it meant. And then there was a shift. The minister said, you've been on the defensive, but you need to get on the offensive. And I said, okay, all right, sure. And then the next thing he said was, you should get on medication. This is not what I'm expecting after I've seen God. He said, my dad dealt with depression, and I got my dad back when he went on antidepressants. And it was this wake-up call for me, because people use Jesus to tell you what you shouldn't do. But in this situation, Jesus was telling me I should get on antidepressants. Thank you.